Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
And this is Mak.
And this is going to be our Nagoya Basho review. You might notice Jake usually joins me and Mak on these episodes, but something came up, so he was not able to join in on this. Not that he really had anything of significance to ever offer to these episodes, so good riddance, I say.
Yay, I'm feeling a need. I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful. Props if you know what movie that's from. Anyway.
Mak, you just got back from Austin, Texas.
I did. Can you tell? Is my complexion any different?
No, you still look very pale.
I am. It reflects my soul. No, we just got back from U.S. Sumo Nationals. Had an absolute ball.
It's fantastic. And I see there's a little note that Jake left for...
Indeed. We met some fans down there. We made some friends. But unfortunately, our said friends didn't think enough of us to at least leave us their contact information. So we did write their names down. We had Austin from Austin. Yes, you never told us your last name. You are only known as Austin from Austin. So please send us an email. We would love to reach out to you and talk with you further. And same with you, Mr. Alex Hearn. We would love to talk to you further as well. So reach out to us. We're lonely.
Yes, please, Austin from Austin and Alex Hearn, reach out so Mak and Jake can figure out whatever they need to talk to you about. I wasn't there. I have no idea who you are. But hopefully I will.
We're going to meet more people. Ryan, we're socializing slowly. We're coming out of this pandemic. Our social skills have only been limited to us. We're starting to reintegrate ourselves into the general populace.
See, that's the thing. For some of us, quarantine was nice.
I don't want to know.
We didn't have to deal with other people. We could keep it to our nice, tight, small little circle and be happy and comfortable.
That is not the direction I thought you were going to take that. Okay.
Yes. So let's get to the main event. Let's talk about the Banzuke that came out for the Nagoya Basho. And oh, buddy, do I have some thoughts?
Yeah. What the hell? That sums up my thought for this one.
We'll get there. So
okay,
we'll start at the top as we always do. Yokozuna, just Hakuho once again. The king stays king. Could be the last time. Could be the last time we say Hakuho on one of these review episodes, as it is a make or break basho for him coming up. But it might not be the last time that we have Yokozuna ranks, because we do have Terunofuji and Takakeisho making a push right now. So let's go down to those Ozeki ranks, where on the east side, number one, you do have Terunofuji. He did jump over Takakeisho, who is Ozeki West 1. So Takakeisho was ranked ahead of Terunofuji on the previous Banzuke, but they both finished with the same record. So if that's typically the case, then the guy who was ahead stays ahead. But in this case, we did have a 16th match tiebreaker between Terunofuji and Takakeisho. Terunofuji won that match. And so talked about a little bit on the preview episode. There's a bit of a mixed history on whether that guy will jump over the dude who was higher ranked or not. The most recent precedent was that he will jump over, and we kept with that. Terunofuji does indeed jump over Takakeisho.
The numbers make sense. The numbers make sense for this one.
And then East 2, you have Shodai, and West 2, yes, you do still have Asanoyama as an Ozeki. So despite Asanoyama being suspended, he is still an Ozeki for this Basho. There's no special rules to automatically remove the rank of Ozeki from him because he's suspended, and you don't fall off the Banzuke just because you're suspended. You're still on there. You just don't have any matchups.
How is this not luck of the Banzuke? I'm reading through the notes here. How is this seriously not luck of the Banzuke? He is only saved because of his rank.
Hey, he earned that rank. So it's not luck. He earned the privilege to have one Basho that was bad. He also earned the right to be kicked out of sumo for 6 tournaments and not have the right to regain his rank anytime soon.
All right.
He will get his just punishment, Mak. Just you wait. We will drop
You were the chosen one. Why?
In many ways, he was. Drop down to Sekiwake. On the east side, you're going to have Takayasu. He's going to keep his top spot as the top-ranked Sekiwake. No change for him after a 10-5 record. And then you have Mitakayumi jumping up from Komosubi to Sekiwake West to fill the void left by Takanosho. And this is going to be the 15th time that Mitakayumi will be Sekiwake in his career. And he is now tied for the 10th most Basho in the junior Sanyaku ranks, those being Komosubi and Sekiwake, with 25 combined tournaments at the Komosubi or Sekiwake ranks. That is 4 years in a Basho.
How is this not your Goedo replacement? Seriously, I know we shouldn't be mentioning he who must not be named called Goedo, but how is Mitakayumi not the stand-in for Goedo at this point?
He's getting close. I have soured on him as of the past year.
Yes,
but the hatred hasn't risen to quite the level. I will tell you for certain, if he wins a Yusho this year and then follows it up with an 8-7, 7-8 bullshit, he could very well equal Goedo.
Fair.
We got to give him some more time. And then at Komosubi, very exciting Komosubi rank for the Nagoya Basho. On the east side, you will have Wakataka Kage, his career high rank, his debut as a member of the Sanyaku ranks, but not to be outdone. On the west side, you have Meisei. This is his career high rank and his debut in the Sanyaku ranks. So we've got some new blood that will be in the Sanyaku ranks. Should be very exciting to see how both of those guys do their first time with that kind of pressure on their shoulders.
May the sumo gods have mercy.
Yes. Hopefully a lot of mercy. I'd love to see Wakataka Kage do well here. So far, we've got... How many people is that? We got 9 people on the board and 9 perfect predictions from me. Yay. That's easy stuff. Who cares? Then we go down to our zone of death at Maegashira 1 on the east side. You do have Endo, who is jumping up 7 ranks from Maegashira 8 after his 11-4 record. And on the west side, you have Daisho. He is dropping down from the Komosubi rank after his 6-9 record. 2 more predictions, 2 more perfect predictions, I might add.
That one is a little off to me because generally when you have a deficit of 6 and 9, you fall further than just 1 rank.
When you're in the Sanyaku ranks, depending on how things fall around you, you're more likely to get a little bit better treatment than like the 2 to 3 ranks you'd typically expect for a 6 and 9, or you'll see with Takanosho, he dropped 3 ranks after his 5 and 10. If you're dropping out of Sekiwake or Komosubi, you're going to get a little bit lighter drop than somebody with an equivalent record that was ranked like Maegashira 4 or 5 would receive.
And we'll make that modification to the machine. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So Maegashira 2 on the east side, you do have the aforementioned Takanosho dropping down from Sekiwake after his 5 and 10 record, and you have Ichi Nojo on the west side. He is up 4 ranks from Maegashira 6 after his 9 and 6 record. These are unfortunately the first predictions that I missed. I had both of these guys at this rank. I just had them switched east and west, so no big deal here. We haven't gotten to any like what's going on with this Banzuke yet. We're getting there. Very soon.
It's coming.
But not at Maegashira 3 East. That's Hokuto Fuji landing exactly where I thought he would be. But the biggest, I'm not going to say head scratcher, but I do think the biggest surprise that a lot of people are noticing on this Banzuke, Maegashira 3 West, you have Tobizaru down 1 rank after a 5 and 10 record. What?
My machine predicted that, so I'm okay with it.
Hey, that's some good machining you got going on over there.
Don't give it too much praise yet, because it severely messed up the next rank.
Yeah. This is Tobizaru is kind of where the Banzuke turns against me a little bit. I'm not angry about the Banzuke yet. That will come. At this point, I'm just surprised. Rikshi dropping down 1 rank after a 5 and 10 record is not unprecedented. However, this has happened 5 times in the 15 match per Basho period and only 3 times in the 6 Basho per year era. but it hasn't happened in 54 years. So this is kind of a thing that they're bringing out of the basement, dusting off and seeing like, okay, let's try dropping a guy 5 and 10 after one rank after a 5 and 10 record. We'll see how that goes. And I think most notably of the 3 people that I noted, there was a Fuji Nishiki from Maegashira 6 West that dropped down to Maegashira 7 East. So not only did he just drop down 1 rank, he only dropped down half a rank from the west side of Maegashira 6 to the east side of Maegashira 7. And I did check for all Maegashira ranks, Maegashira 1 through Maegashira 17, if they had a 5 and 10 record and if they only dropped down 1 rank the next time. Only 5 times in history has it happened, twice in the 40s and 3 times in the 60s, and not once since until Tobizaro here at 2021. Not
all right then.
Not mad about it, just surprised.
Justified. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? I really ultimately didn't miss Tobizaro by much. I missed him by 1 full rank. That happens. At Maegashira 4, on the east side, you have Kotoeko. This is another guy that is going to be at his career high rank. He is jumping up 8 ranks from Maegashira 12 after his 9 and 6 record. That is quite a jump for a 9 and 6 record, 8 and 6, or 8 ranks. But it's not the biggest jump that there has been after a 9 and 6 record from Maegashira 12. Twice there have been Rikishi that jumped up from Maegashira 12 to Maegashira 2 after a 9 and 6 record. That's 10 full ranks.
And
then at and so Kotoeko, he's going to wrap up the Joy, our top 16 Rikishi, who Kotoeko's the final guy that you would expect Hakuho to face if Hakuho were to complete the full tournament. So then we drop down to our mid Banzuke section. We start Maegashira 4 West, and you have Chiyo Tairyu there. So Chiyo Tairyu is going to be up 10 ranks from Maegashira 14 after a 10 and 5 record. Once again, that's quite a jump for a 5 and 10 or 10 and 5 record, but it's not the biggest jump that a 10 and 5 record Rikishi has received from Maegashira 14. Once again, twice Rikishi have jumped from Maegashira 14 to Maegashira 2 after a 10 and 5 record. So a 12 rank jump is the biggest we have seen in history.
And I think that's what confused me for this one, because in this slot I had Okinoumi because he was ranked higher than Chiyo Tairyu. He may not have had as great of a record, but still a very positive one, and was up higher in the previous Banzuke. So to this one, I don't get it. How come Chiyo Tairyu got the big jump?
So when we look at like my rule of thumb, like you take the wins minus the losses, and then that's how much your promotion is going to be. You take a look at a 10 and 5, you expect a 5 rank jump from Maegashira 14. Let's say that gets you at Maegashira 9. And then Okinoumi, he was 9 and 6 at Maegashira 12. You would expect a 3 rank jump. That also gets him to Maegashira 9. And they're both on the west side. So you see Kotoeko's ahead of Chiyo Tairyu. He was on the east side at that same Maegashira 12 rank. So that's, I think, why he ended up ahead of Chiyo Tairyu here. But Okinoumi and Chiyo Tairyu kind of slot in at the same exact spot on the Banzuke. And so the tiebreaker would go to the tiebreaker they're using this time is Chiyo Tairyu had the better record, so they'll slot him in above Okinoumi, is my guess for their logic on why Chiyo Tairyu is ahead of Okinoumi. So then we get to Maegashira 5 East, and you do have Okinoumi, and this is where I start to get mad. So I get not wanting to put Kotoeko or Chiyo Tairyu ahead of Tobizaro. Like I said, I'm surprised, but I can get the logic. There's the joy bias that I always talk about with Tobizaro. He fought all of the tough competition, and so you don't think that a Maegashira 12 or Maegashira 14 Rikishi that realistically should be ranked around Maegashira 9, you don't think they deserve to be ahead of a Tobizaro who fought this great competition. So you only drop Tobizaro down 1 rank. What I don't get is why you would then rank Okinoumi ahead of Hoshoryu and Onosho. So at Maegashira 4...
I don't get that.
At Maegashira 4, there was no other choice than to put Kotoeko or Chiyo Tairyu in that spot. At Maegashira 5, there were options other than Okinoumi, and I would say much better options than Okinoumi to put at Maegashira 5. And it makes no sense in two different ways, putting Okinoomi here ahead of Hoshoryu and Onosho. So one, it is inconsistent in how you just ranked Tobizaru against Kotoeko and Chiyotairyu. And two, it is inconsistent in how you ranked Rikshi that were 7 and 8 at the same exact rank on the two previous Banzukes. So let's break those down a little bit more in depth. So if Tobizaru's schedule allowed him to be ranked ahead of a 9 and 6 Rikshi that should be ranked around Maegashira 9, when Tobizaru himself should be ranked around Maegashira 8, why wouldn't Hoshoryu's schedule, where he fought 6 Sanyaku Rikshi, beat 2 Ozeki, why wouldn't that schedule allow him to be ranked ahead of, once again, a 9 and 6 Rikshi that should be ranked around Maegashira 9, when Hoshoryu himself should be ranked around Maegashira 6? It makes no sense why Tobizaru gets the benefit of the doubt against Kotoeko and Chiyotairyu, but Hoshoryu does not get that same benefit of the doubt versus Okinoomi. And then, like I mentioned in the Banzuke prediction for the Nagoya Banzuke, the past 3 tournament results have all been eerily similar. Most of the wins are soaked up by the Sanyaku ranks. There are poor records by the top half of the Maegashira, which create big holes from ranks Maegashira 3 to Maegashira 9 that need to be filled by either over-promoting or under-demoting Rikshi. There's a pair of Rikshi at Maegashira 5 or Maegashira 4 that both went 7 and 8. There are multiple Rikshi that have 8 and 7 or 9 and 6 records from Maegashira 9 or below that need to be vaulted to the top of the Maegashira ranks. That has happened in the past 3 Basho. All of those things have all happened over the past 3 Basho. These have all been very kind of similar rankings. So when you look at the past 2 Banzukes, we have kept the pair of Rikshi that were Maegashira 4 or Maegashira 5 and had 7 and 8 records. We kept them at their same exact rank. We even split up a pair of Rikshi that had a same record at the same rank to make sure that the pair did not move. On the previous Banzuke, Chiyo no Kuni went up to Maegashira 3, and then it was Kiribayama and Miyagiryu at Maegashira 4 who had 7 and 8 records. They didn't move. And then Hoshoryu, who also had an 8 and 7 record at Maegashira 9, then he went in behind those 2 guys. Here, we have Kotoeko and Okinoomi, both had 9 and 6 records down at Maegashira 12. You had Kotoeko jump up ahead of Hoshoryu and Onosho. Didn't have a choice. You had to put him above them. Okinoomi, you didn't have to, but now they're sliding Hoshoryu and Onosho down a half rank each. Why on God's green earth would the Banzuke committee decide that all of a sudden Oki freaking Noomi's goddamn 9 and 6 record from Maegashira 12 is enough for him to be ranked ahead of Hoshoryu and Onosho, who, based on the previous Bashos, should not have been demoted at all on this Banzuke? It makes no sense for 2 different reasons. They're breaking logic that they had set on the previous 2 Banzukes, and they're breaking logic that they had set just 2 ranks before this one. This is why I'm angry.
I'm not too disappointed with this one because of something new I'm implementing. And Alex, you know what I'm talking about because we talked about this when we were down there. I have a new theory for quality of matches that I'm trying to work out. And this actually played into the algorithm that I wrote for this. And looking at how we have here, it's like they're only off by a few ranks from each other. Now, again, overestimated Okinoomi. That is true. Or sorry, Chiyotairyu. Overestimated Chiyotairyu, but we're working on that. So,
I mean,
theory. I have theories.
I don't even know how you could say Okinoomi had better quality of matches than Hoshoryu, because Hoshoryu fought 6 people in the Sanyaku ranks and beat 2 Ozeki. Okinoomi did nothing close to that on the past Banzuke or the past Basho. So I'm going to have to see how that math stacks up, because in my head, that's not making sense. But I haven't seen the algorithm, so I'll need to peek.
I've shown it to you. It's that giant blue, green, black mass that I've tried to tout every once in a while.
Yeah, I have not looked at that.
Oh, thank God. You probably couldn't figure it out. Anyway, yeah. Continue.
So Okinoomi, needless to say, I have him as a Luck of the Banzuke candidate. And I have Hoshoryu, who did end up at Maegashira 5 West, dropping down 1/2 rank from Maegashira 5 East after a 7-8 record. He is a snub of the Banzuke candidate for me, as well as Onosho at Maegashira 6 East is also a snub of the Banzuke candidate for the same long rant that I had about Hoshoryu. Except Onosho didn't beat any Ozeki in the previous tournament, but same logic still counts. All right. Maegashira 6 West, we have Kiribayama. And Kiribayama is down 2 ranks from Maegashira 4 after a 6 and 9 record. So the Banzuke committee inexplicably ranking Oki no Umi where they did cost me perfect predictions for the next 4 guys on the Banzuke, those being Hoshoryu, Onosho, Kiribayama, and Miyogiryu, as they were all pushed down 1/2 rank for where I had predicted them to go to make room for stupid Oki no Umi and his stupid face.
Not that you're embittered by that at all.
Not at all, no. Then Maegashira 7 on the east side, you have Miyogiryu down 3 ranks from Maegashira 4 after a 6 and 9 record. He is the final victim of that bastard Oki no Umi. And at Maegashira 7 West, you have Chiyoshoma, who is up 4 ranks from Maegashira 11 after an 8 and 7 record. And so Chiyoshoma is another guy that's adding a little bit of fuel upon the fire. That is the Banzuke committee's willful inconsistency. Takara Fuji is another guy that I predicted not to drop after a 7 and 8 record. He ends up at Maegashira 8 East to make room for a Maegashira 11 Rikshi that had an 8 and 7 record. Takara Fuji's previous record in rank would 9 times out of 10 net him a better rank than Chiyoshoma on a regular Banzuke where we didn't need to fill holes like this. And on the previous Banzuke, where they didn't move a bunch of guys with 7 and 8 records, Chiyoshoma would have been behind Takara Fuji here. But yeah, I wouldn't be mad. Yeah, I would not be mad about this if we didn't just have 2 Banzukes with like these exact scenarios playing out incredibly differently.
Yep. And my algorithm predicted the exact same thing. It had Chiyoshoma at M9 East and Takara Fuji at M7 West.
Yep. That's where they both very likely could have ended up on a actual, real, competent Banzuke.
Come on, JSA East. Seriously, come on.
Rise up to JSA West's level.
Indeed.
Yeah. So we get down to Maegashira 8 East, where we do have Takara Fuji. I mean, it's funny. I'm getting worked up about people dropping down a 1/2 rank. But it's more of like...
You're passionate, Ryan. It's okay.
It's the logic behind those moves that I just don't understand. And as somebody that wants to predict these things well, it's infuriating. And it's also got to be infuriating for the Rikshi because there's just no inconsistency in how they're ranked Basho to Basho. It's stupid. All right. Maegashira 8 West.
Follow logic paths, damn it.
Please use a computer.
Well, no, not yet. Hang on. Still working on that.
Maegashira 8 West, we have Aoyama. He is down 5 ranks after a 4 and 11 record from Maegashira 3. And so he is my first perfect guess since Kotoeko, which all of my guesses would have been perfect had you just not moved down the guys with 7 and 8 records like you had not been. So it cost me quite a string of perfect predictions here, Mac. Maegashira 9. On the east side, you have Hide no Umi, who is down 3 ranks after a 5 and 10 record from Maegashira 6. And you have Shima no Umi down 1/2 rank after a 7 and 8 record from Maegashira 9. He is another victim of needlessly moving down 7 and 8 Rikshi. I had these 2 guys switched on my prediction after predicting Shima no Umi to keep his spot. And so 2 more perfect predictions down the drain. If they... I'm not going to get into it again. This could have been an amazing...
Your blood pressure's rising, Ryan. We got to watch that.
It's actually probably lowering because the anger's been boiling up since Sunday, and I'm finally hitting that like pressure relief valve. I get to finally let it all out. So this is good therapy for me.
All right, good.
All right, so now we transition down to the bottom of the Banzuke, Maegashira 10. This is the final spark that ultimately caused my anger to rage into the inferno that it was, because we are once again at another rank where we had 2 7 and 8 Rikshi that I predicted to keep their rank. And what do you know? The Banzuke committee keeps them at their rank like I predicted. Why? Why now? Why fucking Tamawashi and Terutsuyoshi? What's so great about their 7 and 8 records that they remain as immovable as Mount Fuji? But what stood out about their 7 and 8 records so that Kaisei, who had a 9 and 6 record at Maegashira 15, couldn't jump up just 5 ranks to be ahead of them when Oki no Umi already jumped up 8 ranks to push down a pair of 7 and 8s? Maybe Tamawashi and Tada Tsuyoshi each beat 2 Ozeki in their first ever Basho where they fought Sanyaku Rikshi. Oh, wait, that was fucking Hoshoryu! It makes no sense why these guys keep their spot, but Hoshoryu didn't!
Ryan, you're going to give yourself a heart attack. Gabby is going to walk in there with Riley and calm you down.
I was going to say, my baby's trying to sleep.
Exactly. Gabby will murder you.
Need to keep a lid on it. Too late. Cat's already out of the bag.
No, it's behind you, actually.
Actually, it's on my lap.
Oh, it's on your lap. Excuse me. Hello, Renly.
Actually, the other one is also behind me.
I was referring to Teddy.
Yeah. So yeah, cat's out of the bag, cat's in my lap, cat's behind me. There's cats everywhere. Okay. I've said my piece.
Calm.
It makes no sense that Tamawashi and Tada Tsuyoshi got to keep their rank after 7 and 8 records, but Hoshoryu and Onosho didn't. It doesn't make sense.
Defies logic.
Yep, defies logic. It is what it is. I can't help it. They're a bunch of elderly Japanese men who knows what drives their motives for them to rank how they do. It certainly isn't logic. All right, Maegashira 11. On the east side, you do have Kaisei, who is jumping up 4 ranks from Maegashira 15 after a 9 and 6 record, and you have Koto no Waka dropping down 1/2 rank from Maegashira 11 East after a 7 and 8 record. We're okay with Koto no Waka dropping down some after his 7 and 8 record because there were actual other likely candidates to take his spot. So we're not mad about that. Not every 7 and 8 has to keep their same exact rank. It's just when there's no other candidates to fill their spots. Oki no Umi does not count as a candidate to fill Hoshoryu's spot. All right, Maegashira 12. On the east side, you have Tochi no Shin dropping down 5 ranks after a 5 and 10 record from Maegashira 7, and you have Kagayaki dropping down 3 ranks from Maegashira 9 after a 6 and 9 record. This is a pair that makes me nice and happy because you had a 5 and 10 record guy dropping down 5 ranks and a 6 and 9 record guy dropping down 3 ranks. Perfect. Exactly what we want to see. The best ranking they had on the entire Banzuke right here. Makes the most sense. You can't argue with the logic.
No, I think the next one makes the most sense.
No, it
yes, it does because I'm biased, and my computer predicted it. Sorry, I can be biased for this one.
I'm surprised that's the first time I've coughed. I've been sick all weekend and just had a persistent cough that won't go away. But yes,
rage and Banzuke therapy. This cures sickness. We figured it out.
Hey, you're not wrong. I just got to rage a little bit more, and then I'll be healthier. It sounds like
rage.
All right. Maegashira 13, on the east side, you do have Chiyo Maru.
I'm so happy.
Who's going to be a Luck of the Banzuke candidate for me. And then on the west side, you're going to have Ura. So pop the champagne, fire the fireworks.
Back!
Ura is back for the first time in 4 years, landing at Maegashira 13 West.
Now, for the love of God, keep your knees healthy.
Keep your knees in one place. Keep all the ligaments in one piece. Don't tear them. Don't hyperextend them. Just keep them how they are, and then you'll do fine, Ura. So I thought I was being plenty mean to the guys being promoted from Juryo when I was putting this Banzuke together, because like I mentioned on the prediction episode, if we treated them like Makuuchi Rikshi, they could have been ranked as high as like Maegashira 8. But the Banzuke committee is unsurprisingly even more petty than I, as every Juryo Rikshi is behind every Makuuchi Rikshi that had a winning record. So that is what vaulted Chiyo Maru up to Maegashira 13 East after a 8 and 7 record from Maegashira 16. I assumed that Ura, Chiyo no O, Tokushoryu, all getting 11 plus wins from J2 or J1 would be enough to vault them over Chiyo Maru. I was wrong. Apparently, you got to place every Makuuchi Rikshi with a winning record before you even think about placing any Juryo Rikshi, despite how good their record is. And so Chiyo Maru, I'm not going to get into that. It's just, they hate Juryo.
I was about to say, honestly, as much as I do like Chiyo Maru, this one was purely because of Juryo hatred, and I acknowledge that.
Yep. I baked in plenty of Juryo hatred into my prediction. I only got Ura off by a half rank because like I said,
Same here.
easily could have put him up way higher if we were treating him like he was in Makuuchi, but we know Juryo does not get treated like they're in Makuuchi.
Mm-mm.
All right, and we get to Maegashira 14. On the east side, you have Dayamami, who is dropping down 1 rank after a 7-8 record at Maegashira 13. And on the west side, you have Chiyo no O. This is going to be a career-high ranking for Chiyo no O. And I feel like the Banzuke committee is just being a little bit more petty by putting Dayamami ahead of Chiyo no O, even though
That didn't make sense.
Dayamami had a losing record. They only dropped down Dayamami a half rank. They could have moved him down a full rank to place Chiyo no O in ahead of him because Chiyo no O had an 11-4 record at Juryo 1. I don't care that it's in Juryo. That's still a good record at the top of Juryo.
Exactly. Chiyo no O and Tokushoryu both should have been ranked ahead of Dayamami, but no.
But we got to. I really thought that all those 3 guys would be placed together in a group because there really was like a break in the ranks of where people deserve to go. It's like, okay, this is a perfect spot to slot in all of the Juryo Rikishi, but they've just decided to intermingle them with other Makuuchi Rikishi that had losing records. And it's kind of harder to figure out like why Dayamami's ahead of Chiyo no O, or we go down to Maegashira 15. Tsurugisho is ahead of Tokushoryu, where Tsurugisho had a 4-11 record from Maegashira 8 and is dropping down 7 ranks. And Tokushoryu had an 11-4 record at Juryo 2, and he's only going up 4 ranks. It
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's weird kind of how they did the Juryo people on this one. Like, I understand Ura going, you wanted to place all of the Makuuchi Rikishi with a winning record. All right, fine. It's not the logic that I use, but I get that logic. I understand it. Let's see if they're consistent on the next Banzuke.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, but I don't get putting Chiyo no O and Tokushoryu behind Dayamami and Tsurugisho.
No.
So it is what it is, though. We move on to Maegashira 16, where on the east side, I start to feel a little bit more comfortable. I get back into my groove a little bit. We get 2 perfect predictions here at Maegashira 16 East. You got Chiyo no Kuni dropping down 13 ranks after an 0-15 record for Maegashira 3. Remember, he had to pull out of the Natsu Basho after day 3 due to injury. And then you have Ishiura down 1/2 rank after a 7-8 record from Maegashira 16.
Logical.
Yeah. Exactly. It makes sense. I like it. I'm happy. And then we get to one final head scratcher. Maegashira 17 East. The final guy on the Banzuke is going to be top 2 or 3 names in the Makuuchi division. Ichi Yamamoto. So this is going to be a career high rank for Ichi Yamamoto. This is going to be his debut in the Makuuchi division. He will be a Luck of the Banzuke candidate, but it is a head scratcher. I did think he was a possibility for this slot, but I thought Yutakeyama would get the nod here as he was higher ranked and has previous Makuuchi experience. And so it was really a borderline case for either of these guys to get the final Makuuchi spot. But as I explained on the prediction episode, we had 4 slam dunk cases of people that needed to be demoted from Makuuchi, but only 3 slam dunk cases for people to be promoted from Juryo. And so you needed to get one more borderline case to fill that last Makuuchi spot. I thought it was going to go to Yutakeyama. He had an 8-7 record from Juryo 4. It'd be a jump of 4 ranks for him, but that ends up going to Ichi Yamamoto, who had a 10-5 record from Juryo 8. I did look up in the past what's more likely to happen, 8-7 record from Juryo 4 up to Makuuchi, or 10-5 record from Juryo 8 up to Makuuchi. It's happened 4 times for the 8-7 record and only 5 times for the 10-5 record. So they went with the
we've done it before,
unpredictable
just
path.
One more time. So yes, it's going to work.
Yeah.
It's this one really, like you were saying, a head scratcher, because I didn't have Ichi Yamamoto even on my radar. It was one of those I thought, okay, so generally J6 and up, usually that's where you see the bottom. I mean, in terms of like who's going to do well, who's not, and who's going to make the big jumps up to Makuuchi. But Ichi Yamamoto wasn't even considered on my end.
Yeah, I mean, I had him considered because I talked about like will he be one of the guys, but I really thought it was like 95% that they were going to go with Yu Takayama here. I'm really surprised that they gave the nod to Ichi Yamamoto. I guess they're giving the young blood shot in the top division to see how he does. I guess I wonder if their logic is, we've seen Yu Takayama up in the top division. We know what he is. He's a guy that kind of bounces between Makuuchi and Juryo. Let's give some fresh blood a chance and see how Ichi Yamamoto does against the big boys.
We already moved up Tokushoryu and Daiamami, so all right, fine.
Yep. So that is the entirety of the Nagoya Banzuke, as infuriating as it is. We did have 4 guys that were in the Makuuchi division that we will say goodbye to, for this Basho at least, as they drop down to Juryo. Those being Akiseyama, who was 1-14 for Maegashira 13. You had Ryuden, who kind of, after the Basho this was his first suspension Basho, because he is also suspended for 3 Bashos. So I believe the Natsu Basho served as his first Basho suspension, but he was held out for Maegashira 14, so he drops down. Midori Fuji never even entered at Maegashira 15. He drops down. And Aqua was 5-10 from Maegashira 17, so he drops down. Let's just take a look at how did I do overall on this prediction. I ended up getting 19 bullseyes out of a possible 42, which is a little bit below where I like to be. I like to get at least half of them correct. As we mentioned before, there were some things where I was just that close. And if they had followed logic like they had, I would be upper 20s for perfect predictions. But in the end, 19 out of 42, 45% at the exact correct position. I did have 10 additional Rikishi at the correct rank, but just on the wrong east or west side. So I had 29 at the correct rank, which is 69%. So that was very nice on my part. And then more than that, I did have only 6 Rikishi wrong by more than half a rank. So for 36 out of the 42 Rikishi, I was correct within just like switching them from the east side or the west side. They might have had to jump up a rank to get to that west side from the east side, but still, they were only off
still close
by a half rank. So 36 out of 42. I'll take that. I only had 3 guys off by more than a full rank, those being Chiyomaru, Oki no Umi, and who was the last one? Chiyomaru, Oki no Umi, and Tokushoryu. So I had Tokushoryu up higher, but then, like I said, inexplicably dropping him down below some other people. Let's see how Max Computer did. Max Computer also got 19 bullseyes out of the possible 42.
It's learning.
45% for the computer. It had 7 at the correct rank, but on the wrong side. So 26 total at the correct rank for 62%. Not quite as nice as mine, but still not
it's
bad.
Learning.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. I got better than the last Basho.
Yeah. We take a look at the Guess the Banzuke game, how I did on that one. I finished 36th out of 127 total entries. My overall rank is 53rd now. So what's going on there? 53rd is a lot harsher than I deserve.
I don't know about that.
I believe it was the Hatsu Basho where people were mad that Daisho wasn't ranked Komosubi. Well, I had predicted him to be Komosubi, which just altered all the ranks rest of the way down the line. And so even though I could have had people in the exact right order, their rank was wrong. And so I did really bad on that Guess the Banzuke because they only care about if you got the people at the right rank. So that one's really dragging down my overall ranking. But I'm at 53rd right now overall. So we also like to take a look at how many total ranks was I off by. So a guy that I missed by just the east and west siding, that's 1 rank that I missed. If I missed a guy I thought he was going to be Maegashira 3 West, but he was actually Maegashira 4 West, that's 2 ranks. So the total accumulation is a total of 39 ranks that I was off by. And so that's an average error of 0.929 ranks per Rikishi. So I was about on average off by 1 rank per Rikishi on this Basho. My previous best was a total of 12 cumulatively.
Wow.
Which is almost just off by a quarter rank.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's not even a full rank.
Yeah, I did good. I did really good one time. I'm going to get there again someday. But one time I was amazing at this.
Hold on to that. Never let go.
Yeah. That's why I keep the previous bests on there to always remind me of how good I once was. My worst guests on this Basho were Okinoumi and Chiyomaru. I both had them off by 4 ranks or 2 numbered ranks. Just looking at the overall stats of the actual Rikishi on the Banzuke, the people who jumped up the most, 10 ranks for Chiyo Tairyu and 8 ranks for Kotoeko. Rikishi that dropped down the furthest is 13 for Chiyo no Kuni. And then I think the next biggest drop was Tsurugisho with a 7 rank drop.
Yes.
We have 5 Rikishi that will be at their career high, those being Wakataka Kage, Meisei, Kotoeko, Chiyo no-o, and Ichi Yamamoto. And we have 1 Rikishi making their Makuuchi debut in Ichi Yamamoto. So we have the snub of the Banzuke. I don't think I did a good job of naming out who I had as candidates.
You were too enraged, unfortunately.
I named one quite often, and I've lumped 2 of them together. Hoshoryu and Onosho both got dicked by the Banzuke committee real hard. So they're one candidate. Then I also had Takara Fuji, and I had Tokushoryu as a snub of the Banzuke candidate for being put below Tsurugisho for some reason. But obviously I'm going with Hoshoryu and Onosho here. It's just dumb. It's baffling. It defies any logic that they had put together, and they have ruined any goodwill that I had towards the Banzuke.
Remember the cat in your lap. Breathe.
Yes, just scratch the cat, and all will be well. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mac.
You're welcome.
You brought me back from the edge. And then the luck of the Banzuke candidates, I had Tobizaru for only dropping 1 rank after a 5-10 record. Okinoumi, the other side of that coin, he got ahead of Hoshoryu Onosho. Very lucky there. Chiyomaru getting the jump that he did ahead of the Juryo people, and Ichi Yamamoto getting that promotion bump ahead of Yutakayama. But I mean, I gotta go with Tobizaru. It hasn't happened in 54 years.
It makes sense.
Yeah. I honestly never thought I would see somebody with a 5-10 record drop only 1 rank. Never thought that was even a possibility of something you could entertain, but it's happened. And then Jake's not here to kind of go over it, but he always predicts what he thinks the worst part of the Banzuke is going to be for me. He was thinking the Maegashira 10 to Maegashira 12 range. I did okay there. I got all of the guys right. I got the Maegashira 10 rank exactly, but the Maegashira 11 and 12 guys, I mixed around their order a little bit. I wouldn't say that's where I missed the most, though. So Jake did not quite get that correct. But that is going to wrap up this episode of the podcast. Mac, what do we have coming up as far as USA sumo content from where you and Jake were down there live?
Oh, we have so much to go over. We met so many amazing people, talked to so many unique individuals and their experiences with sumo. We will be reaching out to them. We've got a lot of their contact information. And for those of you that we named at the beginning, reach out to us. We'll get back to you, including we had a very nice visit with a young lady named Gabriella. So we will be reaching out to you as well to hear more about your story. So more to come about how people have gotten into sumo, what keeps them going, and what they think of it.
And Mac, I think you're on the Sumo Kaboom podcast this week because you guys were able to meet up with them down at the Nationals as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. Jake and I were both able to get on with them. They were both able to sit down and talk with us. They talked with Jake at the tournament, and they talked with me at the after party. So you can hear us on their podcast. Fantastic.
And then something else to look out for. Some people might know the Sumo Stew YouTube channel. She does some pretty good videos, kind of like documentary style. I really liked her one that she had about Haruma Fuji. So really good videos there. She actually reached out to us, and particularly to me. Your resident Banzuke wizard.
All right, fine.
She has a video that she is, and I might be jumping the gun here by saying this, but she's planning on putting out a video sometime soon regarding the Banzuke and kind of explaining that. She reached out to me since I clearly know so much about Banzuke and I'm an expert on the subject. So just to kind of give her a little bit of
Wait, you're serious?
Yeah. She was watching our Nagoya Banzuke prediction episode, and she already knew that she was going to be putting together a Banzuke episode. She saw the first 10 minutes of that episode. She knew, I need that guy. I need that guy to help me out with Banzuke. That's a man who knows what he's talking about.
You sure it wasn't Jake she was pointing at?
How dare you?
Oh, come on.
I have
with Jake not here, I have to provide.
So offended.
With Jake not here, I have to provide a little bit of snark. You know, I'm usually the positive one.
Yeah, that's why we love you.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, so check out that video from Sumo Stew, which will hopefully be coming out in a few days to not make me sound like a jackass. And then should also be featuring some video from previous Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast. So keep an eye out for that and the Sumo Stew channel. Check them out if you have not before. So with that, all that being said, if you enjoyed this podcast, if you're as angry as I am about the injustice done to my boy Hoshoryu and to a lesser extent No Show, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service. You can reach out to us on Twitter, at Facebook. We have a blog. We have a bunch of other things. Mac, tell them what else we have.
We have a blog, Grand Sumo Breakdown at WordPress.com. I can speak. We have an email at GrandSumoBreakdown@gmail.com. We also have a voicemail. You can call us, talk to us, and leave us a message at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO. One more little adage there. We will be doing a full write-up of the U.S. Sumo Nationals, including a match breakdown and brackets, so stay tuned.
Yep. And we will have our Nagoya preview coming out sometime middle of next week for the Basho that starts on God Bless America Sunday, the 4th of July. So we will see you then.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time,
Throw your salt high.
and keep moving forward.